Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today we'll learn about the delivery tolerance in SAP MM. We'll cover what delivery tolerance means in SAP, how over deliveries and under deliveries are managed, and how it impacts your purchasing and goods receipt process. So let's start. So to understand the concept of delivery tolerance, let's first create a purchase order. So we'll go to ME21N, we'll enter a vendor code, we'll enter the material, we'll enter some quantity, and we'll enter a plant. Now, as you can see here, we are creating a purchase order for supply of 100 kgs of coffee. Now, let's say that when you receive this material, you find out that the vendor has supplied you a quantity which is either less than the PO quantity or more than the PO quantity. Now, when you will do the goods receipt, system will always propose the quantity from the PO line. But since you have received the quantity which is different from what has been entered in the PO line, you will have to change this quantity manually in the Migo screen. That is, you will have to match the Migo quantity with the quantity that has been supplied by the vendor and not what is entered in the purchase order. Now, if the vendor supplies you a quantity which is less than the purchase order quantity, then it is called a case of under delivery. And if the vendor supplies you a quantity which is more than the PO quantity, then it is a case of over delivery. And to accommodate this under delivery or over delivery while you are doing the goods receipt, you can use the under delivery or over delivery tolerance concept in SAP MM. That is, when you receive a quantity which is different from the PO quantity and when you are doing the goods receipt, system will propose you the quantity from the PO line, but you will have to manually change that and match with the vendor's supplied quantity. Now, how much you can change that quantity and post during the goods receipt is what this delivery tolerance will tell you. In case of under delivery, the under delivery tolerance will tell you how much below the PO quantity you can do the goods receipt. In case of over delivery, the over delivery tolerance will tell you how much above the PO quantity you can post the goods receipt. Now let's understand this through an example. So let's say that you have given a purchase order for supply of 100 kgs of coffee. Now as a purchaser, you envisage that there will be some variation between the PO quantity and the supplied quantity. So you want to incorporate a delivery tolerance of 10%. That is, you want to incorporate a under delivery tolerance of 10% and a over delivery tolerance of 10%. So you can see here, in your case, the under delivery and over delivery tolerance are 10% each. So what will happen then? As you can see, you have placed a purchase order quantity for 100 kgs. Now, because of this tolerance, you will allow the vendor to supply a quantity which will be in the range of 90 kgs and 110 kgs. That is, you will allow the vendor to supply a quantity which is less than the PO quantity up to 90 kgs, and you will allow the vendor to supply a quantity more than 100 kgs up to 110 kgs. So this supply of 90 kgs is a case of under delivery and the supply of 110 kgs is a case of over delivery. So whenever you will do the GR, you will enter the actual quantity that has been supplied by the vendor. So whenever you do GR within this range, system will not give you any message and system will allow you to post the goods receipt. Now, if you enter any quantity which is below 90, then system will give you a warning message. That is, the system will basically tell you that vendor has undersupplied against the PO quantity, and whether you want to accept that supply or not is up to you. It will give you a warning. You can ignore that warning and post the goods receipt. Now, this warning message is configurable and you can change this to error message. If the vendor goes beyond this 110 kgs, then system by default will give an error message. So you can see on the screen, if you enter any quantity which is below 90, you will get a warning message. If you enter any quantity beyond 110 kgs, you will get an error message. And this is the whole concept of over delivery and under delivery tolerance. So you can see on the screen, if you enter 80 kgs during GR processing, you will get a warning message. And if you enter 120 kgs during GR processing, you will get an error message. So we'll see all these things in SAP now We'll see how system issues the warning message. We'll see how system issues the error message. And we'll also see how system closes the PO line if you enter a GR quantity within this range of 90 and 110. Let's see in SAP how we can achieve this. So in this purchase order, we'll enter a over delivery tolerance of 10% and under delivery tolerance of 10%. So what we are doing, we are allowing a GR posting above 100 kgs up to 110 and below 100 kgs up to 90. Okay. One thing you have to remember that whatever entry you do in these fields, it will directly get applied on this quantity field, and system will calculate how much over delivery and under delivery is to be allowed. Now let's save this purchase order. So our purchase order has been created with these tolerances. Now let's create GR against this PO. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll select goods receipt against purchase order. We'll enter the PO number. So you can see we have 100 kgs of coffee for which we are doing the goods receipt. Now let's say vendor has done a under delivery. Let's say that vendor has supplied a quantity which is below 100 kgs. So we'll have to enter that quantity here. Okay. Now if I enter a quantity less than 90, let's see what happens. So I'll enter 89 kgs here. I'll select item OK and I'll click on check. So you can see here, system gives me a warning message. And what is this message? Deficit of PU ordered quantity 11 kgs. That is deficit of purchasing unit ordered quantity 11 kgs. And if you go to the long text, you can see here shortfall below the specified stock level or quantity amounting to 11 kgs. And why system is giving this warning message? Because I have entered a quantity which is below the allowable under delivery tolerance quantity. The under delivery tolerance we entered in the purchase order was 10%. Let's verify that. So we'll go to PO. You can see the under delivery is 10%. That means our allowable quantity is 90. That is 100 kgs minus 10 kgs. We are entering quantity as 89 here. So we are entering below this level, and hence system is giving me this warning message that deficit of purchasing unit ordered quantity 11 kg. Now this message is a warning message. If I double click this message, you can see this is a warning message and message number is M7021. Now if I want to configure this as an error message, I can do it through the configuration. I'll show you at the end of this video how we can configure this message as an error message so that you do not allow anyone to post a under delivery quantity also. The standard SAP allows under delivery and hence system only gives you a warning message. But if you want to configure this as an error message, you can do it through the configuration. So we have seen that if I entered a quantity which was below the allowed level, then system gave me this warning message. Now let's enter a quantity which is beyond the over delivery allowed quantity. So how much is the over delivery tolerance? If you go to the purchase order, you can see the over delivery tolerance is 10%. That means 10 kg is allowed as a over delivery against this 100 kgs of purchase order quantity. So let's enter a quantity which is beyond 110 kgs. So I'll enter 111 here and I'll press enter and we'll click on check. So now you can see system gives me an error message this time that PO ordered quantity exceeded by 11 kg. And you can see system calculates this over delivered quantity against the PO quantity. So you have 111 kgs and PO quantity is 100 kgs. So system gives you error for 11 kgs. And this has happened because we have entered a quantity which is more than the allowed over delivery quantity. Now let's enter a quantity which is within this range of the delivery tolerances. So I'll enter 109 kgs and let's see what happens. So we'll enter 109 here and we'll click on check. So now you see system tells me that the document is okay. Although I am entering a quantity which is above the PO quantity, system is allowing me to post this goods receipt. Also, if I enter a quantity which is below the PO quantity, let's enter 98 here and let's click on check. Now you can see again system does not give me any warning message. So within this range of 10%, that is under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance is 10%, system does not give me any message. That is neither a warning nor a error message. Now, if I do a goods receipt within this range, system will understand that you have completed this purchase order. So let's say that I am doing a goods receipt for 98 kgs. Now, although this is below the PO quantity, but this is within the under delivery tolerance quantity. So now let's post this document and see what changes happen against the purchase order line item. So we'll post this document first. So you can see we have posted this document. Now let's go to the purchase order. We'll open this purchase order again. And you can see because we have posted the goods receipt, so you have a purchase order history tab appeared here. And you can see we have done a goods receipt for 98 kgs. Now, although we have done GR for a quantity which was below the PO quantity, but still if you go to the delivery tab, you can see this delivery completion indicator has been marked by the system. So system has understood that vendor has supplied within the allowed under delivery tolerance, and hence this is the final delivery and system has closed this PO line item. So this is the significance of under delivery tolerance, that if you enter a goods receipt quantity which is within the under delivery tolerance, then system will post the goods receipt and system will close this line. If you enter any GR quantity which is equal to PO quantity or above that, then system will by default close this line. But for under delivery tolerance, if you enter within that tolerance, then also system will close this line. So now if you go to the header and see the status tab, you can see the still to deliver quantity has been marked as 0. Even if we have done a goods receipt for 98 kgs, since we entered a under delivery tolerance as 10%, system has understood that final delivery has happened against this PO and has marked the still to deliver quantity as 0. So in all the purchase order reports, you will find the still to deliver quantity as 0 for this PO. That is, there is no open quantity now for this purchase order. Although you can still create the GR for the remaining quantity, and that will be up to the over delivery tolerance quantity. Because even if the delivery complete indicator has been marked in the PO line item, standard SAP allows you to create GR. Let me just show you that. So we'll go to MyGo again. We'll enter the PO number. So you can see system still proposes me the open 2 kgs quantity. So even if system has closed this line, you can go to the delivery tab and see the delivery completion checkbox has been marked, and in the status tab also system shows you that still to deliver quantity is 0, but still the remaining 2 kgs will be proposed by the system. And because we have also entered a over delivery tolerance as 10%, so I can enter a quantity more than 2 kgs in the MiGo screen. And up to what quantity I can enter? I can enter up to the over delivery tolerance quantity, that is 10 kg. So in totality, I can enter 12 kgs here and post the goods receipt. Let me just show you that. So I'll enter 12 kgs here. We'll click on item OK. And if we click on check, you can see system tells me that document is OK. If I go beyond this 12 kgs, then system will not allow me. Let me just show you. If I enter 13 kgs here and if I click on check, now system will give me error that ordered quantity exceeded by 11 kgs. And this remaining quantity that system calculates is against the PO quantity without considering the tolerances. So you can see here system is giving me error about 11 kgs. Why this error is coming? Because my PO quantity is 100 kgs against which I have already done GR for 98 kgs. And now I am further entering 13 kgs here. So for this message, system always considers the PO quantity without considering the tolerances, and hence you are getting error for 11 kgs. But if I change this GR quantity to 12 kgs, system will allow me to post the GR. That will be as per the over delivery tolerance I have entered in the purchase order. As you can see here, if I go to the delivery tab, you can see I have a over delivery tolerance of 10%, and I have done GR for 98 kgs. If you go to the purchase order history, you can see 98 kgs is there. So still I can do a GR up to 12 kgs. Okay, and hence when I enter 12 kgs here, system did not give me any error. As you can see here, if I enter 12 kgs and click on check, system will tell me that document is okay and I can post this document. So you can see I have posted, and if I again open this purchase order, now you can see the total quantity that has been supplied is 110 kgs, which is as per the over delivery tolerance entered in the PO line item. Now let's see what is the meaning of this checkbox, that is unlimited over delivery. Now if you select this checkbox, then system will allow you to do goods receipt for unlimited quantity. That is, whatever quantity is there in the PO line item, system will just ignore this quantity and will allow you to go beyond this quantity up to any level. Okay, so let's test this. So we'll change this purchase order and we'll create a new line item. And this time I'll remove this over delivery tolerance and I'll click on this unlimited checkbox and let's save this PO. Now let's do GR for this line item. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll enter PO number and enter item 20. Now let's create a GR for 200 kgs and let's see what system tells you. So we'll enter 200 kgs here, click on item OK and click on check. So you can see system does not give me any error. So I can enter any quantity which is above the PO quantity and do the goods receipt. So if I enter 1000 kgs also here and if I click on check, you will see system will allow me to post this GR. So this unlimited checkbox is to post the GR above this PO quantity up to any level. Now these over delivery and under delivery tolerance also works for partial deliveries. Let's say that you have partial deliveries being done by the vendor. So system will always calculate the cumulative GR quantity and then will match that with the PO quantity after considering the over delivery and under delivery tolerance. Now you saw that we entered this over delivery and under delivery tolerance in the PO line item directly. But we can save these tolerances in the material master also. Let's say that you have a material for which you have to always enter these tolerances. So what you can do is you can maintain these tolerances in the material master. And let's see where we can maintain this particular entry in the material master. So if we go to MM03 and if we enter this material, we have to go to purchasing. We'll enter the plant. And you can see here you have these fields under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance. Now if you go to MM02 to change this material and if you go to purchasing view, you can see these fields are not editable. Now why this is happening? Because these fields are saved under something called as a purchasing value key. This is an entity which we have to configure and enter it here so that all these fields are updated. Now if you take a drop down, you can see this purchasing value key contains these fields and you have under delivery tolerance, over delivery tolerance and unlimited over delivery also maintained against a purchasing value key. And this purchasing value key you can maintain through configuration. Let me just show you. So for that we'll have to go to SPRO. SAP reference IMG. We'll have to go to materials management, purchasing, material master. And here you can see define purchasing value keys. If I execute this link, you can see all these purchasing value keys that you were getting in the drop down here. If I take a drop down, you can see all these purchasing value keys are coming here. These purchasing value keys are configured here. And to open any purchasing value key, either you can double click here or you can select and click on this details icon. And you can see all these fields are available here. And here you can maintain this under delivery tolerance, over delivery tolerance, and this unlimited over delivery checkbox. And if you enter this purchasing value key in the material master, system will populate all these fields in the material master and then in your purchase order. So now let's create a purchasing value key. So we'll go back, we'll select this purchasing value key and click on copy. And let's enter a key here. So we'll enter Z1. And here we'll enter under delivery tolerance as 10%, over delivery tolerance as 10%. We'll press enter and we'll save. So we have created this purchasing value key. Now we'll have to maintain this purchasing value key in the material master. So we'll enter Z1 here. And you can see system has populated all these data from the purchasing value key. So you can see here the under delivery tolerance and over delivery tolerance has been entered as 10% here. And we'll save this material master. Now if we create a PO, let's go to ME21N. Let's enter a supplier, and here we'll enter the material code. So you can see these tolerances are defaulted from your material master. If you go to the material master, let's double click here. You can see in the purchasing view, you have this purchasing value key that we created just now, where we entered the under delivery and over delivery tolerance as 10%. When we enter this material code in the PO line item, system automatically populated these tolerances in the PO line item. If you go back, you can see here these tolerances are auto populated, and you can modify these tolerances also in the PO line item. Now we have done the goods receipt for 110 kgs. Let's see how we can process the invoice of this vendor through Myro. Now always remember that when you do the invoice processing will be done against the actual quantity which has been supplied by the vendor, and system will calculate the total invoice value by multiplying the GR quantity with the prices that is maintained in the purchase order. So we'll go to Myro, we'll enter the PO number here and the line item number, we'll enter the invoice date, we'll enter a reference. Now here you can see system has proposed the quantity as 110 kgs. That is the actual goods receipt quantity that we have posted against the PO line item, and system has calculated the amount based on this GR quantity. So in this way you can post the actual value that has been claimed by the vendor in its invoice. We'll click on calculate tax and we'll enter the total invoice amount here. We'll click on simulate and we'll post this invoice. So you can see we have posted the invoice. Now if we go to the PO, if we again display this PO, you can see we have posted invoice for 11,000 rupees. So through this over delivery tolerance, we posted a goods receipt above this PO quantity, and we posted the actual invoice which was presented by the vendor for this supplied quantity. Okay. Now let me show you how we can configure that warning message that we got while we were posting the under delivery, and how we can configure that as an error message also. So we'll go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. We'll go to materials management, inventory management and physical inventory. And here you can see define attributes of system messages. So we'll go to this link. We'll go to settings for system messages. And the warning message that we got when we posted the under delivery quantity was message number M7021. So you can see here that message is configured here, and currently this message is configured as a warning message. If you take a drop down, W means warning. And if I make it as an error message, then system will not allow me to post under deliveries also, which are lower than the allowed under delivery tolerance quantity. Let me just show you. So we'll select error message now and we'll save this configuration. Now let's do goods receipt for this item 20. You can see here for item 20, we have maintained under delivery tolerance as 10%. Now let's do goods receipt for this particular PO line item. So we'll go to MyGo. We'll enter this PO number here and we'll enter item number 20. And here we'll enter supplied quantity as 89 kgs. So this is below the under delivery tolerance quantity. That is, the under delivery tolerance quantity is 10 kg. So I can post up to 90 kgs only. If I enter any supplied quantity which is below 90 kgs, earlier system was giving me a warning message. Now I have configured this message as an error message. So now let's see how system behaves. So we'll select on item OK and we'll click on check. So now you can see that warning message has been converted to an error message. So if I configure this message as an error message, user will not be able to post the under delivery goods receipt also. We have seen that in standard SAP, this message is configured as a warning message, and for over delivery, system has given an error message. So in this way, we understood what is delivery tolerances in SAP MM. I hope that you have understood this concept, and I hope that you have liked this video. If you like my videos, then please like and subscribe to my channel. In our next video, we'll discuss about this checkbox, that is delivery completion checkbox. We'll discuss what is the significance of this checkbox and what is the meaning of completing a purchase order line item. So see you in the next video. Thank you so much for supporting me. Thanks a lot.